Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening. Whatever time of the day it is, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To the newcomers, thank you. I appreciate you. To the ones who return, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Sit back, relax, listen to part 4 of chapter 1. Okay, she said, feigning exasperation like the fake task of looking through her calendar was the hardest thing to do. It looks like I'll be free next Friday. Danielle stared in his luscious eyes and asked, "How does your calendar look?" She felt butterflies swarm around her belly like angry bees. "Please say you'll be free, please." When he took a millisecond too long to answer, Danielle was seconds away from blurting out a much sooner date. He beat her to the punch.
I was hoping for something sooner than Friday, like tonight,"
he said with a glimmer of hope in his eyes. He knew she wasn't going to agree to go out with him so soon, but it didn't hurt to ask. A woman like Danielle was too classy to be desperate, so he thought. She quickly turned away from his mesmerizing stare before she stumbled and fell into his trap of lust. "Is it too soon to get bucket naked and roll around in the hay together?" Danielle stopped speaking as if she instantly remembered something. With all his blatant but welcome flirting, he forgot to say his name. "Oh, what's your name?" His face was flushed. To say he was embarrassed was an understatement.
"Excuse me for my absent-mindedness. I'm Justin."
He offered his hand and Danielle graciously took it. "It's nice to meet you, Justin." He nodded his head.
"Likewise. See,"
he said, pointing at Danielle like she said something wrong.
"This is the effect you have on me already, and we haven't even been intimate yet."
Danielle's heart felt like it was about to explode in her chest. She cleared her throat. His forwardness caught her by surprise. Danielle suddenly felt aroused. "As I was trying to say, Justin," she said, purposely avoiding his last statement, "unfortunately, my work schedule does not permit me much flexibility. I've been literally swamped with work non-stop for the past 2 months. The only reason I'm at the park today is to take advantage of this gorgeous weather."
"Yes, the weather is breathtaking, but not as breathtaking as you are."
Justin licked his lips sensually, like LL Cool J.
I should thank your boss and send him tickets to the next Lakers game."
The mere mention of Danielle's boss made her flinch. Her whole disposition changed in an instant. She didn't know if she should be offended or flattered by what he said. Justin saw the perplexed look on Danielle's lovely face, and he immediately wanted to find out what was wrong.
"What?
He stumbled.
Okay, what I meant is, if it wasn't for your boss being a cruel taskmaster, I would not have had that pleasure of meeting such a lovely creature as yourself."
Justin poured it on real thick, but it was something about the way this man smelled, looked, and his chemistry Danielle felt emanating from him that made her throw caution to the wind. She rested her chin on her hands, smiled, and said, "You're smooth." Justin blushed like a 12-year-old who had just entered puberty and says,
"Should I be rough?"
There he goes again. Danielle took the bait and dived in head first. "Well, it depends on the task." They held one another's gaze for a moment which felt like an eternity. Both basked in their lustful thoughts for one another. Their self-induced trance was broken by the sound of Justin's voice.
"I don't expect a beautiful lady such as yourself to have an empty calendar."
He desperately hoped she was single. "Don't be too surprised. My calendar isn't always filled, silly."
"Yes, she's single." "Okay, it's a date,"
Justin said, trying to compose his excitement as he stood to his feet. Danielle was captivated by his Adonis-like body. She never saw a man stand up so seductively before. "This man oozes lust."
"I look forward to seeing you in your red dress and red high heels,"
he said with a Cheshire grin.
"No, seriously, I'm looking forward to spending the night out on the town with you."
Danielle saw his lips moving, but she heard no sound because she was lost in thoughts of picturing him naked. She couldn't stop the carnal desires raving through her loins for this man. It was like he pulled out the most sensual urges she had ever known.
Until we meet again, Mr. Justin.
He took a hold of Danielle's hand and gently caressed it. With a smile that's meant to break hearts, Justin kissed her hand one last time. Then he took deliberate steps backwards, making sure Danielle's eyes remained on him. He slowly turned around, breaking into a full jog, keeping his new lady friend captivated. That was 1.5 years ago. Danielle's and Justin's relationship had been good for the most part, except for one thing. When Danielle wanted to visit him, she could only do so on the weekends. That was the reason Cynthia didn't like Justin. She thought he was married.
I mean, for one, he always tells you to wake his ass up at midnight every time he spends the night with you. 2, you've been with this man for 1 whole year and you've never been to his house during the weekdays. Conclusion, he is a lying, cheating ass, married male whore.
Cynthia loved making Danielle feel dumb as hell. It's her way of making Danielle think, so she said. Of course, Danielle didn't see it that way. She thinks Cynthia berates her to be mean and psychologically abusive. To add insult to injury, she say,
"Open your eyes, Danielle. Stop thinking with your vajayjay. He is playing you like a floozy."
There was no doubt that Danielle believed her best friend was looking out for her best interest, although she couldn't help to feel that Cynthia's feelings for her well-being were a little biased. Danielle thinks her best friend might be envious of Justin because she wants to be more than friends. Hidden desires will eventually make themselves known in the most obvious ways. Danielle hoped she would be ready when Cynthia's undisclosed desires actually manifest. The clock read 11:59 p.m. and 23 seconds. Justin nestled his body closer to Danielle's. The warmth radiating from his flesh was scrumptious. She secretly hated that he had to leave her side during the night. "I would love for him to stay the entire night with me so we could have breakfast in bed."
"Justin,"
she whispered. He grunted and let out a series of snorts. She gently shook his shoulder.
"Justin, it's time to wake up."
He stirred awake. He said as he stretched his lean body against hers.
What time is it?
Justin squinted his eyes, looking at the clock.
12 on the dot.
Thank you, baby.
He wrapped his strong arms around Danielle and kissed her forehead.
A forehead kiss. What the hell? We just fornicated. Now he wants to act like Mr. Rogers.
If his intentions were to make her feel sexy, brother failed. Danielle felt like a 10-year-old being kissed by her grandfather. Oblivious to her feelings, Justin said,
"I gotta run, baby. I'm going to jump in the shower. You want to come with?"
As much as Danielle wanted to get down with him one more time before he left, she declined.
"Go ahead, baby. I have a long day ahead of me."
"Okay, suit yourself."
He grabbed his clothes and hustled into the bathroom. Danielle pulled the covers up to her shoulders and turned on her side. All of a sudden, she felt a cold chill. Where she once had thoughts of fulfillment by her lover, they quickly turned to heavy condemnation. Something was wrong, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. She abruptly sat up in her bed, feeling uneasy. Danielle scanned her dark room, barely able to make out the silhouettes. The only dim light that streamed through the room came from underneath the bathroom door. She tried to shake off the unwelcoming, creeping sensation by telling herself she was just tired. No matter what she convinced herself to believe, she couldn't escape the subtle condemnation that rose in her soul. Danielle didn't know why she was having these feelings or where they have come from. As she laid in the bed pondering these new confusing emotions, she slipped off to sleep until the alarm sounded at 5:30 in the morning. Well, folks, that concludes the excerpt of chapter 1 from my book. It is available on Amazon in hard copy and Kindle. I have a part 2 to this series. I'm thinking about making a three-part series, but I have the second part. I will be doing an excerpt of chapter 1 on the second part of my book. Thanks again for your support. I hope you enjoyed it. If you purchased the book on Amazon, leave a review. Let me know, or send me an email. Hit me up and let me know you read it. And I will greatly appreciate your support in that sense too. Thank you again. Have a good night, good evening, good morning. Be safe, and God bless you.